Hello and welcome back to Norfolkfords. So it is now Tuesday and I have got the lovely job, my favourite job on the farm, subsoiling. So just ripping down a bit of land ready for more asters. So as you can see we've planted, I think that's 3 weeks worth. Oh, that's a tight bit. So the way we plant is, I'm going to have to stop in a second. We plant the first week slot and they'll grow the first. Second week just a little bit behind. Third week just you get the idea. This is so we've got flowers all the way through the season instead of everything coming up at once. Oh, that is a real tight bit. Because then we'd have far too many flowers, you know, too many to deal with. You can't pick them all at once. So, if we stop a sec. So yeah, we plant in stages so the flowers have a chance to come up in weak sort of weak sections. Get my words out right. So I'm just down here, I'm doing the first pass with the subsoiler, then I'll be on the plough and then the AVR, and then after that it's the bed former which comes in on the other tractor which has got a fertiliser hopper on the front. So he's got a real good strong chance kicking off. And a lot of people have been saying we're borderline drought at the minute. It certainly is very dry. We've had a little bit of rain this week. We've had a couple of 10mm spots, which has been real good. But for the most part, we've had the irrigator going, which is over there. So yeah, the first week was a bit of a battle to get planted far enough to get the irrigator pulled out, because you didn't want to water ahead of where you hadn't planted, otherwise you're sticky planting. Which on that machine, which I think I put a clip on the, I don't know if I put a clip of it on the YouTube or not, but there's a clip of it on the Instagram. So again, gentle reminder, if you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram yet, you're missing out on just little bits and pieces that we have going on. So yeah, I'm going to carry on subsoiling. It's my favourite.
But before we carry on with the Asterland, let's go back to the weekend where I finished off the 6-3-10.
Temperature sensors off, low pressure sensor. See what happens when we start it up. But it is flashing all along the wire. Half of it. What needs to do with the fact that the part cable's not connected? Don't know. In fact, the oil's run out everywhere. Sealed. New pipe isn't leaking. job's a good un. Happy days, we'll lower it back down. Then she's ready for peonies. That's it. Down here is where we've had a bulk waste pile. It's hellishly tight here. Real annoying. We're getting through it. A little bit annoying as well is because we're only subsoiling a couple of days worth of planting, because the planter goes literally, the best we can do is about 320 metres an hour. So that's the Ruggiero block planter. Like I said, it's on the Instagram if you have a look at that. Because that plant's so slow, what I usually like to do when I subsoil is go up one pass and then back down another, and then you sort of fill in the gap and come over more, because you spend a lot less time turning around on the headlands. But because I'm only going up to the AVR there, I've done most of it, so you sort of have to go to the old school way of just one after the other, which is annoying because it's such a it is a better way of doing it. Not by much, I mean, but if you had a full day on it, I wager you'd cover a little bit more ground, just because you're spending less time turning. You're literally out of one straight into the other. But we ain't really got a choice when we're only doing such a small amount. Like I said, this will be, what we've done here will be a week's worth of farm. And like I said, we do it like that, just so we have the plants come up in stages, so we can pick them in stages. Right, I'm going to carry on and get this finished. Well then, we're now set up on the plough, and it's not too bad. I've got a high furrow one way, not the other, which is a little bit annoying. So I'll try and tweak that as we go. But I've got a little bit of a problem. It's not so much of a problem right now that I'm ploughing, but the GPS has thrown a wobbly. This has been plaguing us for a little bit, where it'll work for a couple of hours and then it'll just go, nah, no thanks. So what it basically does is when you engage it, it goes, "Wah-hey!" then turns off and says, "Oh, I can't do it." Which is really frustrating. So we put a new sensor on the axle, then we ended up having to change the brakes and a few seals in the hubs, which not very happy days on that one. You know, tractors are expensive like that sometimes. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what's going wrong with it. I think we've got some sort of software issue, because we've changed the sensor in the axle now, and she's still doing it. So, not so much a problem on the plough work, because I ain't going to say I'm the best ploughman ever, because I'm far from that. But I enjoy it. I keep it relatively straight. That's all you need. You don't need GPS. That'll be fine. But where we're going to have the problems is when we get onto the AVR, because that does need GPS. That has got to be, yeah, that's got to be tight. That's got to be right. It's got to work. So what has been working with the GPS, I should probably say as well, it's the New Holland built-in Trimble system, which is usually quite good, quite reliable. Nothing fancy like the Topcon, but yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem with the AVR. But what's happened before is turn the tractor off for 5 minutes, turn it back on, and it does come back on. So hopefully that's going to work this time. I need to turn the plough over as well, because that does cause you problems. Yeah. I've only done it once, I promise, and it may have been last year. Anyway, let's get a little bit more ploughing, and we'll worry about the GPS when we come to the AVR. So hopefully we're not too bad. But I'm not the full-time ploughman, but I wouldn't say that's too bad. That'll do us. And also, you can probably see a little bit, we subsoil at an angle. Oh, there's that tight bit again. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, we subsoil at an angle. I don't know if this is like a commonly done thing, but we subsoil at an angle and then plough straight to the field, because then you're sort of slicing through slices, if that makes sense. So it's something that Dad's always done. He said he's always preferred doing it like that. So alright, Dad, we'll keep doing it. It's also quite a good idea when you consider doing that at an angle. Then we have got subsoilers on the plough, which are not proper Cavernum ones. These are Dowswell points, which are a considerable amount cheaper, and we just weld them on the slides. You know, you're getting twice as much subsoil. Admittedly, they're not a full subsoil. You know, they're not a flat lift, you can call it, really. But by having it at two angles, you're getting, in theory, you're getting a better job of subsoiling done. Which, you know, when you consider diesel is still going up at this point, I believe. I think last we paid for red diesel was £1.20-ish. I can't remember. I think we're getting close to £1.30 now. Hopefully the diesel situation starts calming down. But you know, you can't afford 2 passes with a subsoiler, and some fields need it. So having subsoilers on the plough is definitely a good thing. And we shan't talk about fertiliser prices, my goodness, we'll be here all day. Now, who among you can see what's wrong here? Something not right with the plough as it's set in? Leave a comment below, because our plough is very good at doing this quite often, and it's very annoying. Now rocking and rolling with the AVR, which is a simple bit of kit, sort of similar to a rotavator, but a little bit more fine, you can call it. So this is just sort of like a bed former. So what we're using this for is we're actually using this as a bed former before the skinny bed former. So this is laying the soil, this is getting the soil to the grade we want it, which is quite nice and soft, ready for the asters. And then Simon is now in the field hooking up over there. Whee! There we go. He's got fertiliser hopper on the front, and he's, oh, I'll zoom out. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, he's got fertiliser hopper on the front, so he's going to apply fertiliser to the soil, churn it all up with his bed former, which is a similar sort of design, except instead of the one barrel rotor, which that is a twin rotor, so one sends it forward, one sends it backwards. It churns it up into beds and it leaves it in ridged beds, whereas this one does not. You can get these, like Potato Boys, they'll have these set up so different tines are at different lengths and stuff, and that creates a bed. But that's not the way we run this. We use this as quite a universal setup. We have this mainly for bed forming in front of the tulip planter, and then we just have them little markers at the back there and there, and that's just laying a wheeling for the planter tractor to follow. So simple but effective as always. There goes Simon. He's just going over the same bed again. Just, oh, he's getting out for a tweak now. Just so, because these have been sat over the weekend, dried up, had rain on them, you know, so they just need a little bit of retouching. So that he's going to go along, reform them, so they're going to be perfect, so we can go straight in later. So I don't know how far he's going to go today. You know, we might swap tractors and he'll go off and get the planter. It just depends where we've got labour, really. Labour's still hard to get in the right places, really. You know, we're a little bit spread thin at the minute, but we're managing. It's all right. Just over there, there's a 8RX doing the rounds on a bit of drilling. Hopefully in a sec he'll get going again, because the amount of dust coming off him, you nearly lose the drilling it. It's ridiculous. Oh, he's doing his corners. Go on, mate, open her up. Can't believe how dry it is. Look at that. Look at that. Well, I'm now leaving the field. I'm all caught up on the land work. And before I left, I thought I'd better put the bird scarer back up. It's got a bit of wind about today, so hopefully that stays up, because that does have a nasty habit of just pulling itself over eventually. So that should stop birds. They don't actually eat the flowers. They're very good, especially when they're freshly planted. They'll pull them up and look for worms underneath them. Very clever how they know that. So we had a terrible last year, terrible. We had to replant most of the field. It was terrible. So we've got gas gun down here as well, just did a test of that. So, you know, hopefully the birds leave us alone. So it is now about, oh, what time is it? Come on. 2:30. Time for lunch.